San Bruno Redevelopment Agency to order. Roll call, please.
Agency Member Ibarra.
Here.
Agency Member Salazar.
Here.
Agency Member O'Connell.
Here.
Vice Chair Medina.
Here.
Chair Ruane.
Here. Approval of the minutes, regular meeting of January 26, 2009.
So approved? Or move to approve?
Okay. Motion second to approve the minutes.
Second.
All right, there we go. All in favor?
Aye.
Consent calendar, there's nothing on the consent calendar. Public hearing, no public hearing this evening. Public comment, items not on the agenda. Anyone like to speak? I don't see anyone speaking. Conduct of business. A, adopt a resolution approving second quarter budget amendment for the 2009-10 San Bruno Redevelopment Agency budget. Mr. O'Leary.
Chair and members of the agency, the reasons for a budget amendment for the redevelopment agency are the same as I outlined for the city and the action the council took earlier on the budget amendment for the city. For the redevelopment agency, for this last quarter, and the budget amendment covers two items. One for additional legal expenses beyond what was originally budgeted because of the actions related to development in South San Francisco that the agency pursued, and then also legal review for several specific planning projects that the agency is undertaking. The second item is actually an operating transfer, and this is transfer from the redevelopment operations into capital, which was an additional $50,000 approved by the council and the agency previously for the capital project for the El Camino Phase 1 medians and pedestrian improvements. Be glad to answer any questions that the agency has.
Questions of staff? Action?
We'll introduce a resolution approving the second quarter budget amendment.
Vice Chair Medina.
Aye.
Agency Member Ibarra.
Aye.
Agency Member Salazar.
Aye.
Agency Member O'Connell.
Aye.
Chair Ruane.
Aye. Item 6B, adopt a resolution adopting a 5-year implementation plan for fiscal years 2009-10 through 2013-14, including an updated 10-year affordable housing compliance plan for fiscal years 2004-5 through 2013-14. Staff report, please.
Through the chair. Are you going?
City Attorney.
Yeah.
Does the city attorney like to start, or should I? I'll yield the floor. I'll yield the floor.
As I indicated at the December 8th kickoff meeting for this item, there are 3 council members that have conflict of interest that could prevent your participation this evening. As I indicated last time, the overall reason for that is for broad policy decisions like adopting a redevelopment plan or implementation plan. The real property, which is the subject of the governmental decision, is any property in the boundary of the redevelopment area, and including any property within 500 feet of that. This is pursuant to Regulation 18704.2. And having reviewed the staff report and the implementation plan, this is applicable to at least 3 of you. So it's incumbent upon you at this time to each identify your specific conflict of interest. But then we move to the second issue, which is that you will no longer have a quorum if all 3 of you were to remove yourself from the dais. So we'll use the procedure that we have previously used in making a random draw to determine which council member will remain to provide the quorum and participate fully on the issue as is provided under conflict law. And whoever that person is will sit for all future meetings on this particular matter.
Through the chair. For the record, I am in conflict due to my residence in the redevelopment area, so by where I reside in San Bruno, that makes me ineligible to participate.
And for the record, I'm ineligible for rental property that I own that is in the project area.
And for the record, my property, my primary residence is within 100 feet of the redevelopment area.
Yeah, so the mayor, you've been presented with
I have the three names.
three names.
Right here, so
Yeah.
everyone can see Rico, Irene, and Michael. And I will fold these names up like this, and I will ask Mr. Bill Goff to come forward and please draw one of these names.
Mix them up.
Shake it up really good. Mix them all up.
This is for early home.
And just to clarify, the name that is drawn will be asked to participate in order that the
This one.
quorum can be
Give me one.
provided.
Got it, okay. And Irene, you are the lucky one. So Agency Member O'Connell will be the third member. All right, staff report, please.
Thank you and good evening, Agency Chair and members of the board. I'm going to turn this presentation over to Mark Sullivan to give the beginning, and then I'll cover some of the other aspects of the implementation plan. And we also have our consultants from RSG here who are here to answer any questions. And one comment following our presentation, although I do not see members of the public here, we did notice this as a public hearing, so you should open it up to public comment if anyone would like to speak on it.
Good evening, Honorable Chair and agency members. The purpose of this item is to review and consider for approval the draft 5-year implementation plan for the San Bruno redevelopment project. The agency reviewed the main points of the plan in December previously, and tonight I'm going to discuss the highlights of the plan in my presentation. And Aaron will focus on 2 or 3 projects and next steps in the implementation process. State law requires all redevelopment agencies to adopt a new implementation plan every 5 years, and the plan must identify programs and projects, expenditures and revenues, and describe how they eliminate blight. The programs and projects in this implementation plan are presented in a broad and general way. Since the agency can only undertake projects included within the implementation plan, this provides the agency with the most flexibility. The programs in the implementation plan are basically in 5 categories. There are economic development activities, there's project area beautification, there's transit corridors implementation, infrastructure improvements, and finally affordable housing activities. The plan also demonstrates compliance with affordable housing requirements, and the agency currently has a surplus of affordable housing units, and it is expected that it will continue to have a surplus of affordable housing units throughout the planning period. The agency also exceeds the minimum spending limits on very low income housing and family housing. As far as expenditures go, approximately $13 million will be available for non-housing projects over the 5-year implementation plan period. About $3.2 million of this has already been allocated through the capital improvement program budget. An additional $8 million will be available for affordable housing activities, and about half of that has already been allocated to the affordable housing subsidies at the crossing and the residential rehabilitation program. The estimated expenditures are based on tax increment projections, which use very conservative assumptions given the uncertain economic times and the potential for declining property values. The tax increment projections assume a 3% growth rate in assessed values, and that's comprised of a 2% inflation rate and 1% for property reassessment. To put this in perspective, the growth rate over the past 5 years within the redevelopment project area was an average of 15% per year, and that was largely due to development at the crossing and the remodel at the shops at Tanforan. The tax increment projections do not include the new project at the SNK project at the crossing, which includes 350 new units, and this is just to sort of reflects our conservative approach in the tax increment projections. Another uncertainty, which Connie spoke about earlier, is the state take of redevelopment funds through the Supplemental Educational Revenue Augmentation Fund, or CERAF. This would mean a loss to the redevelopment agency of approximately $2 million this year and about $400,000 next year. And as you know, the California Redevelopment Association has filed a lawsuit to prevent the state take of redevelopment funds. And we expect that a decision will be made on this before the CERAF payment is due this May. The expenditures that I mentioned earlier assume a pay-as-you-go approach without bonding, and this has been the approach that the agency has taken since the start of the redevelopment plan. However, after reviewing the programs in more detail, the agency may wish to consider bonding in order to deliver projects earlier and to achieve strategic planning objectives. Based on the tax increment projections, the estimated bonding capacity for the agency during this 5-year period is between $22 and $26 million. And that concludes my portion of the presentation. I'll turn it over to Aaron.
Thank you. The primary focus of my portion of the presentation will be on the programs that are found within the tables within the plan. And rather than go through program by program to get your feedback, what I wanted to do is just focus on a few different programs to see the broad range of things that you could do within redevelopment. What's important to note for tonight's meeting is the primary goal is to get this plan approved so we meet all the state requirements. The secondary goal is to set the general direction of the programs found within the redevelopment implementation plan. What the plan does not do is prescribe certain things that we must do. So there's a broad range of things in here, and we could select from the general direction in here as we move forward and implement our redevelopment goals. For instance, in the economic development as well as in the project area beautification sections within the table, there's a broad range of things that we could do. On the minimal aspects, we could just continue with the facade improvement program. The program's been doing well. We've had a number of West Coast Cafe and a number of other facades that have been improved due to this program. However, we could also look to improve this program by lowering the matching amount or looking to actually loan money for tenant improvements. One thing that we see a lot, one barrier to a lot of businesses wanting to move in is required ADA improvements. And many redevelopment agencies help with loans for ADA improvements within buildings. So that's something that we could look to do. On the middle of the road policy would be partnering with nonprofits that really help small businesses start. Another thing that we see at the front counter is a lot of first-time business owners in San Bruno. And while they may be good bakers, for instance, they really don't know how to run a bakery. And there's nonprofit groups such as Renaissance Entrepreneurship Center that sit down with these business owners and go over everything from marketing to how to your books to how you should get your building to look to really have a successful business. And this is one way that redevelopment can set businesses up to be successful within the redevelopment area. On the other end, we could also look for actual business recruitment policies, hiring third parties to really go out there and tell us, hey, what type of businesses do we not have and which type of businesses are looking to expand. We could either do that on an overall basis or we could do it on an individual basis. So for instance, the Hollywood Video site that is now empty because Hollywood Video went out of business. We could work with a third party that could say, certain type of businesses are looking to expand into a 5,000 square foot. Here are the key contact people to go visit, and we could actually have a recruitment effort that way. So those are some ways within economic development that we could use redevelopment. Regarding opportunity sites, once again, there's a wide range of things we could do. One opportunity site the board has brought up numerous times, and we all drive by it, is the bank site on San Bruno Avenue and San Mateo Avenue. You know, on the low end, we could just use redevelopment to market the site. We could create flyers, create contacts within the development community, letting people know what we're doing and why they should develop within San Bruno. We could also use redevelopment to fund infrastructure improvements around the site that will ultimately lower the cost for the developers to go into that site and build. And then what many cities are doing, and that the agency could do, is actual site acquisition, where we purchase the site and then we partner with an affordable housing developer to help produce affordable housing on the site. In terms of affordable housing production, which is covered within Table 4, there are also numerous things that we could do on the low end, and what we've talked about before is we can have a purchase rehab program where we go out there, we purchase 3-unit, 4-unit buildings, remodel them, and deed restrict them so they're affordable housing for decades. What we could also do is go in a site like the Crossing SNK, which is 100% market right now, and actually buy units within that and deed restrict them. The high end, what we could also do is what we talked about before, is actually go out, purchase sites, and partner with developers to create mixed income housing developments or 100% affordable housing developments. So those are just a few wide range of things that we could do in the tables. What we would recommend is that in the near future we have some type of study session where we really start to drill down and actually name specific programs that we like to move forward within redevelopment and economic development. So we're all here to answer any questions if you have any.
Aaron, a lot of these project descriptions have the word may in them. Are we committed to these things if we say this is what we want to do, or do we have flexibility within that word? Are we committed once we say this is what we want to do, or we change our mind? Or
no, what this does is set up options for you. So this doesn't handcuff you into doing any one specific thing. But what we did do is make sure that there's a wide array of things within here and a wide array of options, because all your options have to be listed within this document, and that's why you see there is a lot of mays and there's a lot of things mentioned within this document. And there are examples of what we could do.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I was happy, because I haven't participated in this before, I'm happy to hear how all this works and that we can actually give some concrete direction later on. One of the things that I did not see, and I don't know if it needs to be in here or what, but there's not much said about signage. We've talked about it in the city all sorts of ways and haven't done much concrete about it. And does that need to be in here to be part of redevelopment? I'm thinking particularly of San Bruno Avenue and San Mateo Avenue.
In terms of like city gateway signs or
No.
signs within individual businesses?
No, directional signs, parking this way, shop downtown. I saw about the gateway signs, and I saw about the business, those kinds of things, but we've had people come up and we've all talked about, you don't know there's parking in the back of San Mateo Avenue, or from San Bruno Avenue, you don't know that if you turn left on Huntington, you can get to BART, that kind of thing, or the police station even.
Yeah, that's good direction. What I would say is the program that I think it most fits within is the gateway signage program, because I think it could be something that's done in conjunction with that as you drive into San Bruno, you know where you're going, or as you're driving within San Bruno.
Okay, so does that need to be added here, or
What
is
we
that
could
just
do
part
is
of what?
with your direction, we could add language to it.
Okay.
Wasn't that included in the transit corridor plan?
Is it?
Some dialogue on that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Directional signage. Okay.
Well, I don't know if it specifically says directional
Yeah, I
signage,
didn't
but
see
it
it.
does talk about implementation of the transit corridors.
Okay.
program,
Okay.
Which has a signage program. And
Okay.
also in our
I'm not
facade
in that
program,
either.
We support signage, new signage for individual facade improvements.
Yes. Okay,
So-
I'm not on the transit
Yeah.
corridor one either,
Yeah.
so I didn't know.
It's all new to you.
It's all new to me, yay.
Through the chair, let me just say that I think we're well positioned. I think this is a very exciting time for us, even though there's all these economic issues and things. I think with the plan in place and with the growing redevelopment funds, even though they're being picked at by the state, I think we still have some potential. I like what was said about economic development, but I think we need to be a little more aggressive, a little more proactive. We have a grade separation coming in, and it's going to start construction next year. I am excited or this year, yeah, later this year, or right around the corner. We need, there's going to be a lot of attention to it, and I would think that San Bruno needs to be in the forefront on what sort of ideas we're looking at to enhance that part of the corridor. Another thing that I think we need to be a little more proactive in sponsoring projects. I know that we've got a lot of projects here that we're just going to participate and help fund and things in certain agencies and certain programs. But I think we need, with these residential rehabilitation grants or even nonprofit things, I mean, Habitat for Humanity or something, I think we need to go into the neighborhoods and have a signature project, possibly every year, every other year, and just, try and enhance a neighborhood. I think that'll make a big difference, bring, a lot of PR, and use that money, that growing amount of money that we're setting aside, for a low income or a disabled family or something. I think it's something that we can really hang our hat on. So.
It's great. We've had a redevelopment agency now for about 11 years, I believe, and it was one of the easiest votes I think we ever had with this council. Now we're starting to really grow. So this is very exciting stuff. I look forward to study sessions to fine-tune some of these focus items and really see as long as we can keep the state, their grubby little hands off of our redevelopment funds, this is exciting stuff. So I look forward to some study sessions. Good. Anything else?
I don't know. Do you need more from us for this, or is this?
Well, we need a resolution, but before we do that, this was noticed as a public hearing, so I'd like to open the public hearing and ask anybody in the audience if they'd like to ask some questions. All right.
If I could,
Mr. Ibarra.
Mr. Chair, we have consultants here that really have some expertise, and not to put you on the spot, but if you have some ideas on how you feel about this plan, please offer them at this point.
Yeah, we did put you on the spot.
I don't want to belabor things when they're going so well. No, I think that you're complying with law, most importantly. That's what has to happen here. And I think you have to be careful. You don't want to put so much detail into this kind of thing that then 2 years from now, when you want to change your mind, you have to go back and rewrite this. So it's kind of a waltz to keep it flexible enough, but it gives some general parameters as to where you're headed. The detail has to be there in the housing part of it. That's what this has done. You are in full compliance on all the housing requirements. You are unique in that. There are many agencies that are having difficulties doing that, and so that's something to be very proud of. In terms of the moving ahead, you've got a lot going on. It was apparent in collecting the data for this, and there's some great opportunities. You seem to be in front of them with some of the planning work that you're doing, and so things are lining up. And I agree with you. We all hope for better economic times that will help make the kind of implementation that you're looking at go more smoothly and more quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And this does call for a adoption of a resolution.
You want to close public? You need to.
Okay. We'll close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Now,
No.
would someone like to introduce the resolution for adoption?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would like to introduce the resolution for adoption.
Agency Member Ibarra.
Aye.
Agency Member O'Connell.
Aye.
Chair Ruane.
Aye. This meeting will adjourn, but tonight I'd like to adjourn it in memory of a longtime San Bruno resident, raised 10 children here, and is very, very active in the community, especially loved by the fire department because his son, Dan, was the fire chief. That would be John Boyer, and I request a moment of silence in his memory. Thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned.